Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Answers at the Point podcast. I am your host, Tyler Aaron. If you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, it is at TylerAaron65, or you can follow the show's Instagram or Twitter at PenguinsFan65. And in today's episode, we are going to be looking at reviewing the Penguins at Buffalo Sabres game that took place on Saturday, October 1st. In the second segment, we are going to be looking at the game preview between the Penguins at the Detroit Red Wings that will be taking place at 7:30 tonight, and we will wrap up this episode of some Penguins roster cuts to their training camp roster and who will be that Penguins 12th forward, and that is all coming up right after this intro. Alright, Yins, welcome back to this episode of the Answers at the Point podcast. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the first segment here of reviewing the Penguins at Buffalo Sabres game that took place at the KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. It was a 1 o'clock game on October 1st. So I'm going to go right ahead and get into the scoring summary. In the first period, there was actually no goals scored in the first period, which was really nice. In the second period, Victor Olofsson scores 12 minutes and 14 seconds into the second period with assists by Dylan Cousins and Peyton Krebs. At 18:22 of the second period, Tage Thompson nets one with an assist by Chase Preseason. And then in the third period, 18 minutes and 24 seconds in, Drake Caggiula scores with the goalie pulled with assists by Valtteri Puustinen and Kasperi Kapanen. And then with 27 seconds left to go of the game, or 23 seconds actually, I'm sorry, Jack Quinn scores an empty net goal with an assist by Tage Thompson and Victor Olofsson, and the Buffalo Sabres get a 3-1 victory over the Penguins. I'm going to go ahead and name the three stars of the game. Third star of the game, Victor Olofsson, 1 goal, 1 assist. Second star of the game, Tage Thompson, 1 goal, 1 assist. And the first star, Buffalo Sabres goaltender Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, making 32 saves with a .970 save percentage. Moving on over to the penalties. A lot of penalties here in this game. In the first period, 8 minutes and 2 seconds in, Jeremy Daves from the Buffalo Sabres gets 2 minutes for slashing Nathan Legare. And Nathan Legare gets 2 minutes for slashing on Jeremy Daves. 10:48 into the first period, Penguins defenseman Xavier Hallett gets 2 minutes for cross-checking Peyton Krebs. In the second period, 7 minutes and 2 seconds in, Anders Bjork takes 2 minutes for cross-checking Mark Friedman. 7 minutes and 27 seconds into the second, redeems the Hornet, takes a 2 minutes for high-sticking Jeremy Daves. And then literally right when redeems the Hornet gets back out of the box at 10:09, and he takes another penalty for holding J.J. Peterka. And then at 15:15, the Sabres, J.J. Peterka, 2 minutes for minor on Jamie Devane is what it says. Okay. And then in the third period, 3 minutes and 12 seconds in, Corey Andonovinsky takes 2 minutes for minor on Matthew Savoy. 8 minutes and 25 seconds in, Drake Caggiula takes 2 minutes for holding Brett Murray. 12 minutes and 58 seconds in, Corey Andonovinsky for the Penguins takes 2 minutes for hooking Linus Westbach. So that's 2 in the same period for Corey Andonovinsky. And the last one coming at 15:30 with the Buffalo Sabres. Vinny Hinostroza, 2 minutes for hooking Valtteri Puustinen. So I'm going to go over little team stats here. So, shots on goal for the Sabres, 35 shots, 4 hits, 32 faceoffs won with a 56.1 faceoff win percentage, 6 power play opportunities, 0 goals, 0% on the power play, 0 shorthanded goals, 4 total penalties, 8 penalty minutes, 10 block shots, 2 takeaways, and 7 giveaways. For the Penguins, 33 shots on goal, 8 hits, 25 faceoffs won, 43.9% faceoff win percentage, 3 power play opportunities, 0 power play goals, 0 power play percentage, 0 shorthanded goals, 7 total penalties, 14 penalty minutes, 9 block shots, 2 takeaways, and 5 giveaways. I'm going to give my thoughts here now on the game. So basically, the Penguins just have to stop taking penalties. We are on the penalty kill way too much. The Penguins were one of the top teams in the league who didn't take penalties. I mean, John Cooper of the Tampa Bay Lightning last season said that it was frustrated because the Penguins just simply don't take penalties, which is always a good thing. But so far this preseason, it's just been penalties, and the Penguins' power play too, just passing the puck too much. That's all I got to say. We're getting a little fancy with it, making those extra passes. I know players, Crosby, Letang, Rust, Malkin, they all force the puck. They try to go for those 1-Ts. Again, on the power play, you just have to shoot the puck and not pass it 60 times and waste all your chances on your power play. So, again, it's frustrated. Penalty kill, it was okay in this game, but hasn't been the greatest at all yet in this preseason. So, again, I don't know what Mike Vellucci's going to do with the special teams and Todd Reirden. I guess we'll just wait and see when the Penguins play the Coyotes next Thursday and see what, how the team does for opening night. So Tristan Jarry played a heck of a game too, even though only giving up the 2 goals in the game. He stood on his head for Pittsburgh. I mean, the shots was a 2-shot difference. Buffalo had 35, Penguins had 33. So, again, Tristan Jarry, he just made those timely saves. He looks really well, really good. So, you just got to wait and see how it performs. Tristan Jarry had over a 940 save percentage in this game, which is really good. It's always good to see that coming out of your starting goaltender. Now, fairly, the Penguins didn't play all of their starters. They had a few of them. So did the Sabres. They played most of their prospects. We played most of our Wilkes-Barre guys. So, again, it's preseason. It doesn't matter. We shouldn't be hitting the panic button right now. Next 2 preseason games versus Detroit and Buffalo again. It should be the Penguins' dress rehearsals, so there really shouldn't be an excuse for not winning those games at all. So, and then if you tried watching it on AT&T Sportsnet, I don't know if you saw, but there was a little bit of a power outage there at the KeyBank Center, and you couldn't watch the Penguin game till there was like halfway through the first period or over halfway. So again, it was frustrating. Had to rely on Twitter, just keep on checking the Twitter and listening to the radio broadcast that Steve Mears provided and Bob Berry. Again, so the Penguins fall to 1-3 in the preseason, which again, it doesn't really matter. It's just preseason hockey. But again, that is going to do it with this first segment of reviewing the Penguins versus Sabres game. So coming up in the next segment, we will look at the game preview between the Penguins at the Red Wings that takes place tonight at 7:30. So that is all coming up right after this break. All right, Jens, I am back with this episode of the Answers at the Point podcast. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the next segment. It's the game preview between the Penguins and the Detroit Red Wings that takes place tonight here in about an hour or so as I'm recording this. 7:30 puck drop at Little Caesars Arena. Again, according to the Penguins broadcast schedule, there's no broadcast at all. You can only get updates on it on Twitter, on the Penguins Inside Scoop and stuff. But it looks like now that the broadcast plans have changed for this, and you can watch this game on NHL Network, or you can listen to it on 105.9 The X, which is always good. I hate relying on Twitter to get my Penguin updates. So, again, that's always great to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the lineup. So I'm going to start with the Detroit Red Wings lineup here. So forwards for the Red Wings, we have Zadina, Vrana, Raymond, Suter, Rasmussen, Bergeron, Perron, Bertuzzi, Larkin, Bliss, Ernie, Kubalik, and Veleno. On defense, Mata, Edmondson, Sherratt, Hronek, Lindstrom, Newpower, and Sider. And in goal for the Red Wings, Ville Husso and Okinaora as their backup tonight. So, again, the Red Wings having a little bit of a dress rehearsal with your notable players like Bertuzzi, Larkin, Raymond, Suter, Zadina, Mata, Sherratt, Sider, like those type of players. So a little bit of a dress rehearsal. Still got that mix of prospects versus what the Penguins have on their side of things. So I'm going to go ahead and read the Penguins lineup now. Jake Getzel, Sidney Crosby, Jason Zucker, Evgeny Malkin, Ricard Raquel, Brian Rust, Danton Heinen, Brock McGinn, Ryan Pelling, Josh Archibald, Kasperi Kapanen, and Sam Poulin. On defense, Brian Dumoulin, Chris Letang, Marcus Pedersen, Jeff Petrie, Ty Smith, and Jan Ruda. And in goal, Casey DeSmith will be starting, and Lindbergh will be backing him up. So, Tristan Jarry was supposed to be starting this game, and DeSmith backing him up, but Jarry is actually sick, so the Penguins called up from Wilkes-Barre Philip Lindbergh to back up today's game versus the Red Wings. So, again, with this being said, projected lines for Pittsburgh, first line being Getzel, Crosby, and Raquel. Second line being Zucker, Malkin, and Rust. Third line being Heinen, Pelling, or Sam Poulin, whichever you choose, and Kapanen. And your fourth line being McGinn, again, Pelling or Poulin, and Josh Archibald. And then on defense, Dumoulin and Letang, Pedersen, Petrie, and Smith and Ruda. And then obviously the Smith starting in the cage in Philip Lindbergh, backing him up. So Penguins, a little bit of a dress rehearsal here. Let's see what some of these players can do if they can make that 12th forward, such as Josh Archibald, Ryan Pelling, and Sam Poulin. Those are pretty much your three main guys battling it out right now for that 12th forward spot. So, score prediction for this game. I'm going to take the Penguins on this one. I think it's going to be a relatively close game. I'm going to go Penguins 4-3 with Red Wings goals being scored by Moritz Seider, Tyler Bertuzzi, and Dominic Kubalik for Detroit. And for the Penguins, I'm going to say goals scored by Raquel, Ryan Pelling, Danton Heinen, and I really think Ty Smith's going to get one. So 4-3 is my prediction for this game. And so I guess we'll just wait till the puck drops in an hour, and we'll see what the Penguins can do over at Little Caesars Arena. So that is going to do it with this segment of the Yinzers at the Point podcast. So coming up in the final segment of this episode, we are going to look at the Penguins roster cuts and who will be the Penguins' 12th forward, or who I think will be the Penguins' 12th forward, and that is coming up right after this break. All right, welcome back in to this episode of the Yinzers at the Point podcast for the final segment of today's episode, and that is the Penguins roster cuts and who will be the Penguins' 12th forward, or my thoughts on that. So on Saturday, the Penguins made a crap ton of roster cuts, and they're down to 28 players now on the remaining training camp team. So the Penguins have sent down forwards Alex Nylander, Valtteri Puustinen, Drake Caggiula, Philip Hollander, Jamie Devane, Kyle Olson, Nathan Legare, Ravis Ansons, Corey Indonovansky, and Drew O'Connor, along with defenseman Xavier Hallett. Colin Sawyer and Jack St. Ivy have been assigned to Wilkes-Barre's training camp, and goaltenders Philip Lindbergh and Dustin Tokarski will also report to Wilkes-Barre. Now, Philip Lindgren is back on the Penguins playing in the Red Wings game tonight, backing up Casey DeSmith. But so the Penguins training camp is down to 28, and now it is cut even more as players such as Taylor Fedun and Jonathan Gruden are off the training camp team, and also additionally Owen Pickering and Nolan Collins have been sent back to their respective junior teams. So as of right now, that leaves the Penguins with Jake Getzel, Sidney Crosby, Ricard Raquel, Jason Zucker, Evgeny Malkin, Brian Rust, Danton Heinen, Jeff Carter, Kasperi Kapanen, Brock McGinn, Teddy Bluger, Josh Archibald, Sam Poulin, Ryan Pelling as your forwards. Defensemen, Brian Dumoulin, Chris Letang, Marcus Pedersen, Jeff Petrie, Ty Smith, Jan Ruda, Chad Ruedel, Pierre-Olivier Joseph, and Mark Friedman, and in goal, Jari and DeSmith. So that's currently what the team is. Radim Zohorna is also in there too. If you haven't seen, the Penguins decided to send him down through the waiver wire, and he got picked up by the Calgary Flames, which is very unfortunate. But, I mean, what are you going to do about it? So, I really thought Zohorna, Andrew O'Connor really played the best in training camp to get that 12th forward spot, but I guess the Penguins management seems otherwise. But after this, the Penguins have 5 players left to figure out what to do with them. And they got to keep 3, or send 3 down, or lose them through the waiver wire, and keep 2 with these 5 players. That is Sam Poulin, Josh Archibald, Ryan Pelling, Radim Zohorna, who's gone, and POJ. So I'm going to move individually, going through these players and who I think can have the best impact and has the best chance at making the 12th forward spot on this team. So first up, I'm going to go ahead and start with Sam Poulin. I think he has the best chance at making this team. I originally put a poll on Twitter saying that who is more likely to be the Penguins' 12th forward for opening night, Radim Zohorna or Drew O'Connor. 77% said Drew O'Connor, and 23% said Radim Zohorna. As you know, Radim Zohorna is the Calgary Flame, and Drew O'Connor is in the AHL. So that can't really happen for opening night. So I have a new one of what player should be the Penguins' 12th forward: Ryan Pelling, Josh Archibald, or Sam Pullen. Out of 118 votes, 69% said Sam Pullen had the best chance. Ryan Pelling had 27%, and Josh Archibald had 4%. This just shows how much Penguins fans are rooting for Sam Pullen. I'm rooting for Sam Pullen. If you missed the episode I made that on Saturday, I'm pretty sure, I had an entire segment about the idea of Teddy Blueger being traded or leaving and having Sam Pullen being your new fourth-line center. I mean, the Penguins are using Sam Pullen as a center, and the time's nigh for him. He's almost ready, even though he played his first year in Wilkes-Barre last year. 72 games, 16 goals, 21 assists, 37 points with a plus-minus of -8. Not the best of numbers, but it also isn't the worst, especially for your first year in the AHL. But overall, you're going to gain a lot of youth out of Sam Pullen. I mean, you're already the oldest team in the NHL. So, and Sam Pullen, I mean, he's pretty much ready to go. He's played really well, through training camp and preseason. He's mostly stood out, and that's why he's still not been cut yet. I mean, it's just amazing. Next player I'm going to move on to is Josh Archibald. He hasn't done anything in preseason or training camp. It was easily the worst signing the Penguins made this offseason. But it looks like he's going to make the team. It looks like that he could be on that opening night roster. I mean, he's getting paid $900K for 1 year, and you usually do not pay AHL players $900K. It just never happens. So it hurts, but just a poor signing, I should say, especially for a guy who hasn't done anything. And again, that 4% only think that he should start. But Archibald, I mean, this is his second stint with the Penguins. He was drafted by Pittsburgh. I mean, we must have traded him for a reason. I guess Penguins management felt wrong, had to sign him again, and you're just not getting results from Archibald like you thought you would. Now, he has scored 10-plus goals before in a season, but he probably won't end up doing that again. So, I mean, it sucks because you could have had someone like Radim Zohorna or Drew O'Connor playing, but you had to send them down, and you end up losing Zohorna, which hurts. But, a team always can't make good signings all the time. So, moving on to Ryan Pelling. He's my other favorite to score. I do apologize. I just got a notification. I've had a little bit of some issues, but this episode's still recording during the Penguin game, and Josh Archibald actually just scored a goal. So I don't know. I hope that's a sign that where I just go on a rant about Josh Archibald and how he shouldn't make the team and all, and he scores a goal. And it's 2-0 Pittsburgh, and Brian Rust netted the first one. So moving back over to Ryan Pelling, he's my other favorite to win this along with Sam Pullen. He'd be great with Brock McGinn and Teddy Blueger on the fourth line. He would fit well, and that also gives a guy like Danton Heinen the opportunity to play with Jeff Carter and Kasperi Kapanen. So again, he's been okay in training camp in the preseason, but he's definitely better and way younger too than Josh Archibald, and I just think that he's the better, well-rounded player. So So moving on to the last one, POJ, Pia Zahorna, we've already made a decision on. So with POJ, I mean, it's hard. You have 9 NHL caliber defensemen on this team. I'll go ahead and say them again. Those would be Dumoulin, Letang, Pedersen, Petrie, Smith, Ruda, Ruedel, Joseph, and Friedman. I mean, that's a pretty darn good list. So the Penguins, it looks like we're going to lose a defenseman here. And to put us back underneath the salary cap. I mean, we're 700 over right now, which isn't ideal, but you do have $1.9 million in dead cap space because of the Jack Johnson contract. So that contract's really hurting us right now, but you can't do nothing about it. I mean, I'm happy for Jack. He won a Stanley Cup in Colorado. I'm happy for him, but it's just that money could be really useful, and we could have got a better forward with that cap that we had, and we wouldn't have to go out and spend $900K on Josh Archibald or something. We could have used that money elsewhere. Without that dead cap, the Penguins would be a little over $1.1 million over underneath the salary cap, which is pretty good because that's usually where the Penguins like to be, is there. But with POJ, the Penguins have offered POJ to all 31 teams. I made a tweet earlier today. My prediction is POJ will be moved by the end of the week. Whether it's Vancouver or Toronto, just to name some teams. But, it's hard. Or the Penguins could go a different route with this as well. And you'd have to waiver wire a guy like Chad Ruedel, Mark Freeman, those guys who's had the experience here in Pittsburgh and can really be a game changer for this team. And it just hurts of what bad signings can do to your team, or signings that just doesn't go your well. I mean, the Penguins could put Josh Archibald on that list, but again, it's hard. I mean, like, for example, Brock McGinn, $2.475 million, I think, for the next 3 or 4 seasons. I mean, not an ideal contract, but it's for a fourth liner too. So, again, there's nothing that you can do about this. It's just, I wouldn't want to say poor management. It's just a bad decision. But, I'm not going to rant on, Ron Hextall shouldn't be the Penguins general manager because he made a few bad signings. I mean, he locked up Malkin, Letang, Raquel, and Russ for a combined total of $22.5 million, which is absolutely insane. So, again, I do like what our management does. You can't expect every team to make the right moves, the right signings like that. I mean, it happens, but, you just got to live with it. But, it could make or break the team this season, but the Penguins have a chance to, go far. They have that talent on their team. They're re-bolstered defensive core. So, again, we'll just wait and see. Again, my favorite is Sam Poland making that 12th forward spot, if not Ryan Pelling. And then probably with the send down 3, keep 2, I would keep up Pelling and Poland and send down Archibald and POJ, and you already lost Zahorna. So, again, this is going to wrap up this episode of the Insers at the Point podcast. My next episode will be out on Friday, October 7th. That'll be the Penguins' last preseason game of the season. They'll take on the Buffalo Sabres at the Paint Can at PPG Paints Arena. That is a 7 o'clock puck drop, and you can watch that game on AT&T Sportsnet. If you want to watch tonight's Red Wings game, that will be on NHL Network or 105.9 The X. So again, that is going to do it for this episode. I am your host, Tyler Aaron. Again, if you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, it is at TylerAaron65. Or you can follow the show's Instagram or Twitter at PenguinsFan65. And I am planning to have a YouTube channel out for this podcast to, get more viewers, or just to promote it more. So again, that is going to do it with this episode, and I will talk to you all on Friday.